Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Creative Craving, and we're going to continue on the chess app. We're going to continue working on the move log today, the move log component. And as I recall, where we left off, we fixed some kind of a bug. I don't think I even committed. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we got some changes here. Oh, that's not a big change. The changes were the new files, move log, TSX, and event types. Okay, let's just double check that. Been a minute. Okay, let's bring this over here. We got piece movement and piece move event. Okay, I renamed that. I remember I needed to. Okay, so basically what we've gotten so far is we're making sure that the data we're receiving is actually a piece movement. Now with this MIT framework, it lets you receive any event. It doesn't type check the events. Maybe that's something I'd want to change, but maybe not. I don't know. This flexibility is good too. It can be good. I don't even know how you do that really. I guess I'd want. I guess I'd want to use the type itself as the event tag to name the event. I'm also testing out a new mic setup. Please comment and let me know if it sounds good. I got a mic on my desk now instead of on the floor beside me. So downside is maybe it's a little bumpy. If I get a little rowdy on the keyboard, it might pick up some extra noise. But the upside is I've got more freedom and my arms aren't going to hit the mic as easily. So pros and cons. Please let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. Now let's get into it. I'm kind of out of it, right? Let's see. We want to trigger a piece movement. We just actually had that, didn't we? Piece colon move right here. We trigger a piece movement when we're doing this in the move piece function. Now what I probably want to do eventually is rework this. Right now move piece is getting called, by handle piece movement. What I probably want to do instead is have handle piece movement fire an event which is then captured by move piece and simultaneously captured by this. Right, that's I need to put that on my to-dos, but I really don't even know how to say it. Let's put this on the to-dos for now though. Refactor move piece to receive events instead of sending them. Send from click handler instead. That seems good enough. Okay, great. Oh, I know why I'm feeling stuck. I don't even have any sort of I don't really have a data structure defined here. Now, I am sensing a problem. If I recall correctly, okay, so this event thing is going to trigger separately from React. It's not reactive. Well, it is. It reacts to events, but it's not connected to the React system. So the problem here that I'm sensing is if I make a change, if I update the state, it's going to React's going to complain at me. But actually maybe I should just try it and see what kind of error message it gives me. Maybe it'll give me more useful information. I don't recall exactly how to handle it. Maybe I can use callback or something. But React's documentation isn't always helpful. Like it helps in specific, like you have to really read it carefully in order to understand every possible use case for a thing or which one's going to be best. There's use memo, there's use callback. Let me just look at the docs real quick and see if it's easy in this case to understand. I can't just trust my bad memories, right? I've got to, okay, React, use callback. Let's see if this is actually going to help us. Okay, cache a function definition between re-renders. Right. It automatically memoizes values and functions. Oh, really? Is that a change? What about use memo? Well, now I'm on a quest. use memo. Cache the result of a calculation between re-renders. Memoizes values and functions, reducing the need for manual use memo calls. It says you can use the compiler, implying there's some kind of action I have to take. But does it just mean I can rely on the compiler to handle it automatically? So it sounds like they've made a change here. Okay. So I guess this has changed. React no longer has that flaw where, like, there used to be a flaw where if you had a function you defined inside of your reactive, inside of your component, like for example this move piece, if I use move piece inside of this use effect, it used to be that the use effect would get triggered every single time that every time the canvas rendered, because every time that move piece, or every time that the component gets called, move piece would get redefined as a brand new function. It would lose its identity, right? Or I should say, there was no way to compare the old function with a new one for equality, and React had no way to know if the function had changed or not. So I guess it's better now. The compiler is better now at figuring out when it should change, I guess. So it sounds like this is almost deprecated at this point. Cache a function definition between re-renders. So it looks like this isn't going to help us. What I might do, let's see, use effect event. Maybe, what about this? Okay, it lets you extract non-reactive logic from your effects into a reusable function. Now, what does it mean by non-reactive? Does it mean it doesn't rely on use state or anything like that, or any reactive variables? Or does it mean it violates reactive policy? Like, does it mean it behaves differently than what React expects? It's a little bit unclear what non-reactive means here. Okay, call use, okay, declare an event effect. Event effects are functions you can call inside effects, such as use effect. So okay. Well, show notification, where's that coming from? So I guess it's, okay. Man, I wish it told me which version of React this came out in. All right, yeah, comment if there are any issues with the mic, because I have a feeling there might be. I might have to change the way I lean on my desk too much. All right, so might have to train myself out of that. Only call inside effects or get like a mic harness. I can do that if it's worth the expense, but we got to find out if it's worth it or not. Define them just before the effect that uses them. Okay, only call them inside effects. So this sounds like it's not useful. Do not pass them to other components or hooks, so just call them, okay. Right. I don't really get this paragraph. I assume that when you create this on connected, you still have to list it as a dependency, right? Oh, you don't? Well, why not? They give this big spiel about dependencies. Why don't you just list it as a dependency? I'm not really missing that. I'm not really getting that. Use for non-reactive logic. Only use it to extract logic that does not depend on changing values. Okay, that's what they mean by non-reactive. Does not depend on changing values. Okay. Typically, when you access a reactive value, well, we can see from these two things right here. Only call inside effects, and only use for logic that does not depend on changing reactive values. We can see that this isn't going to help us. Okay, what's this use action state? This is stuff I haven't looked at. I don't think I've used React DOM. Or maybe, okay, use form state. I might have used that. Update state based on the result of a form action. Can I use it for other purposes? Top level to create a component state that is updated when a form action is invoked. Use action state. Oh. Oh, so it literally works with the form action. Okay, I don't think that's going to work. All right, well, let's just look and see if there's something React provides us quickly. Defer updating part of the UI. I'm not really worried about that at the moment, but I can see a use case for that. I'm going to do animation stuff. A React hook that lets you customize the handle exposed as a ref. Okay. I don't really... okay. Okay. Use insertion effect allows inserting elements into the DOM. I don't care about that. We'll use layout effect as a version of use effect that fires before the browser repaints the screen. I guess use effect is after the repaint. Let's look at the word repaint. Repaint. Got it. Okay, so it may allow the browser to repaint the screen before processing the state updates. Usually this works as expected. However, if you must block the browser from repainting, use layout effect instead. None of these use hooks really help me that I can see. Use optimistic. Okay, I don't really care about that. Use reducer. I might have to use reducer just to get things working. Maybe I need to make my own hook around it, right? That might be the right call. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to give me an error. Let's just move on and let's see what happens, right? Const log, set log. I'm not going to understand what this means. Movement log, set movement log equals use state. And it's going to be an array of, gee, I probably should define these types elsewhere. Type movement log entry equals piece. Yeah, we're going to define this elsewhere. We're just going to move it into types. Okay. Probably at the bottom. In Vim, I have a great way to close folds. I don't know how to do that in... let's see if there's a close fold. Oh, geez. What's going on here? Yeah, okay. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, whatever. We'll just do it at the bottom here. Type move... Oops, daisy. There we go. Export movement piece log. We have a piece. From position is an index. Again, we probably should clean that up to use like a type alias. To position is number. Flags. Movement flag. I could try... Oops. I'm not going to try to do bit manipulation. So we're not going to combine these into one integer because I don't want to deal with bits. Capture, check, checkmate. Okay, let's just make sure. Let's just quickly grab some AI. In chess notation, plus means what? Okay. What other sigils? Well, I don't know. What other symbols does chess use to notate things? Please make a table. See how it does. Check, checkmate, checkmate. Okay, I've seen this one. This is probably the one I'd use. Kingside castling. Oh yeah, I haven't even figured out how to represent castling. It's going to look different. Capture. Yeah, I think what I'll do is just... You know what? To be quite honest with you, I don't have a way to represent castling, partly because I don't restrict pieces to normal moves. Let me show what I mean. Let's say the bishop is over here. Let's say the knight is over here, whatever. We're going to get rid of the queen too, right? Now, we want the king to castle. So normally in a chess game, the way you do that is you pick up the king and move him over to 16, square 16. And then the rook would automatically go to square 24. The problem is the king can move anywhere. The king can move here, right? There's nothing about this game restricting the king to specific movements. So for the king to move here is not in my game engine, right? For the king to move from 32 to 16, that's not a signal to castle. That's just the king making a movement that we allow, right? We're not restricting the king to legal chess moves. So I think if a player wants to castle, they're going to have to do it manually in 2 steps. Like, we don't have a way to represent that. That is kind of a limitation that's inherent to the way we've decided to implement things. If we later decide to restrict pieces to normal chess moves, or like maybe we have a toggle flag where like normally it restricts them to legal moves, and then you can toggle a flag to say allow any move, then castling would be impossible, right? And it's not a limitation of the way I wrote the code. It's a limitation of the problem we're trying to solve. Like, if we want to allow illegal moves, then we can't treat the king moving to this square as special in any way, right? Because this is also legal, like, as far as we care. He just captured his own pieces, you know. He just jumped the king and captured his own queen and bishop. That's completely legal, right? Or I shouldn't say legal. It's not a legal chess move. It's a move we allow because we're not hall monitors here. So the side effect of not being hall monitors is there is no way for us to indicate a kingside or queenside castle. Now maybe we have a button somewhere nearby that says, do you want a castle kingside, queenside? You hit this button and we'll do it for you. That's the only way we could do it. So like the normal way of handling it wouldn't even work. Okay, captures. Captures need to be represented. Let's bring this over. Okay, we want to represent check, checkmate, castling later, capturing, promotion. Okay. A rust in them would be nice here. Promote to, and it is going to be undefined by default. Promote to piece, right? Okay, it can promote to any piece, including a pawn, as far as I care. A blunder, inaccuracy, good move, brilliant move, equal position, white is preferred, black is preferred. Okay, those are not things we need to represent. These will come later. We eventually want to allow castling. We might even restrict our game to legal moves at some point. I like the idea of a toggle flag. But again, that's for later. Check, checkmate, capture, promotion. Those are the things we need to worry about. Let's add promotion as a flag, even though we don't need it, I guess. I mean, it's kind of overrepresented because if this is not undefined, then we are promoting, right? It's kind of redundant. I mean, although to be quite frank, every one of these flags is redundant because, because, you know, when you capture a piece, anyone who is anyone who's looking at that can just observe, like, oh yeah, there used to be a piece there. Like, let me show you an example. Sorry. You know, let's say we do this and then that. We're playing here. Let's play a legit chess game, right? Let's start with white. Okay, let's say white captures here, right? Anyone who's been watching these moves knows that there's a pawn on 27. I need to put chess notation here so I get used to it. So if this piece moves here, the pawn moves here, first of all, pawns don't move diagonally. It's moving from 36 to 27. That's a diagonal movement. And secondly, there used to be a piece there, right? So the information that it's attacking a piece and the piece has been taken and which piece has been taken, that information is there already. We're kind of over-specifying. Maybe instead of having a capture flag, I should say what it captures. Captures question mark piece. I think that's not redundant information, sort of. I mean, anyone looking at the board can, like, you can deduce it, right? Okay, so I don't want to represent captures this way. We have check, checkmate. I decided not to represent pawn motion this way either. Check or checkmate. Now, here's the thing. I don't actually want to track. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say, yeah, that night, and then, and then this, and then white makes a move, like maybe that, a bad move, and let's say black goes here, right? Now the king is in check, but I actually don't want to track that right now. Again, we're not adding chess rules right now. We can add that later, but I don't. The problem I'm trying to solve right now is to make a chess UI. I'm not trying to make a chess engine. Or by engine, I don't mean a computer that plays chess really well. I mean an engine that actually tells you whether you're making legal moves or not, and tells you what the consequences of your moves are. I feel like this is not appropriate for what I want right now, but I don't want to get rid of it completely. I want it to have it there so to remind me that that's the thing I can do later. But we're just not going to use it right now, right? Okay, so this is what we're going to get, a move log entry that looks like this. However, I think this is redundant. Yeah, we have this right here, right? Do I really want to expand it after I work so hard on it? Why am I... Let's think about it. We need to look at these two side by side. All right, so here's my question. Excuse me. If our move log is given an event that looks like this, does it have enough information to generate this move log entry on its own? I mean, the only way... Okay, it could figure out captures on its own because it has a move log. It knows where all the pieces are, right? So it could go back and be like, it could search through its movement entry log and see if there's a 2 position that equals what we'd really need, though, to be able to figure that out, we would need to be able to basically figure out the most recent location for each piece. That's probably what we would do. So we'd search backward through the movement entry log. We would search back through the movement log for the latest position of every piece, and then see if there's a capture there or not. So we could figure out whether it's capturing on which piece. Promotion we can't figure out unless it's given. So I think I want to add that here. All right. Now let's see, what kind of checks am I doing for piece? Okay. Okay. Whoops. Oh yeah, we already have that. Okay, so if if promotes to in data, it's allowed not to be there, and not data.promotes to in valid piece names. Return false. This returns false as well. Now what's going on here? Oh! Okay. Okay. So let's take this ampersand out. Let's make this a little more complicated. If don't know why we have a paren there. Everything's looking okay except for that. Okay, so if type of data.promotes to not equals string, return false. Great. Okay, this all type checks now. So if it exists, we want to type check it, but if it's not there, we don't care, because it's optional. Okay, so we're adding that. Honestly, quite honestly, I am considering, you know, these types are very close to each other. They're very similar. I think adding captures makes sense. Even though the movement log can recalculate the capture, that information is already right there. I think, well, here's the thing. Let's take a look here. Handle piece movement. Move piece, da-da-da-da to here. Now at this point, it doesn't have the capture information, right? And we discussed we wanted to set an event handler here and then have move event or move piece respond to that event, right? That's going to be some work because we need to change the game as well. Anyway, right. We might end up using parent context or something for this. Anyway, that's going to be down the road a little bit. Yeah, so the issue is right here where we're planning, right here where we currently emit the event, we have that information. Right here where we're planning to emit that event, we won't have that information. So we need that information to have proper notation. And quite honestly, we need that information in order to update the game state properly. I think I'm just kind of in a mess here because of the way I've organized things. I kind of need to start over and move the game state into a context, I think, in order for this to start making sense. Like maybe what I need to do, even though I hate to, maybe I need to drop what I'm working on now and just refactor the game state to where this stuff starts to make sense more. Well, let's look at move piece real quick and see what it depends on. It depends on the game. And, oh, it doesn't call set game, does it? No, it does. Okay. Dirty squares, it doesn't depend on that. Set dirty squares, canvas ref. Whoops. I'm not seeing where it depends on that. Honestly, the easiest way to figure it out would just be to take the whole function and move it. Right here. So the game is one thing it relies on, so let's add that. Just so we can get rid of the red squiggles. Okay, yeah, so this was a simple transformation. Yeah, it needs to be able to update the game, doesn't it? Here's the tricky thing. I think move piece should be part of the context. Like, I think probably what I need is a use hook that will give you access to move piece as one of its things. as you can call move boost directly, and the event gets emitted properly, and the game state gets updated properly. I think that might be the right way to do this. Okay. So I feel like right now, oh, set game as well. Okay. Just call it any. Actually, yeah. Okay. Game to void. And then set game. That all fixes that. Now, yeah, so this is its dependencies all listed out as props now, which, to be quite honest with you, would be easier here. I think I'm going to keep this change just because it makes it easier for me to understand the next step. And then I'm going to make a new branch. Yep. Yep. No. Move. Remove. What is it? Closures. From move piece and separate it from the board canvas component. That's good enough. Okay. Now we're going to take the rest of what we did, components, and we're going to save this as work in progress. New branch for this. Feature. What are we going to call it? Probably, wait. Feature move log. Work in progress. Hopefully I remember to remove that commit. Get check out main. Oh, sorry, master. BR. Feature. I'm just going to keep it a main for now. Well, yeah, I don't want to make my life too complicated. There's only one developer working on this. I don't want to be super complicated unnecessarily. What we do need to do, though, we're hitting some serious limitations here. All right, so the name of the stream is changing, I guess. Certainly the purpose is changing. All right. We're going to leave this as next time. Let's call this this time. Okay. What are the problems we need to solve? Shared game state context. Need to update game state without. Need to update. No. Need to respond to events without messing with components internal state. In other words, move log component needs to store the log of moves outside of itself so that it can be updated independently of move logs render. Oops. What was the other problem we want to solve? I think that nailed it. Oh, the other one. Need to integrate the event framework with React in a good way. Basically, that's a restatement of this, more or less. Like, this is a more specific version of the problem, but this is what needs to happen ultimately. Okay, so today we change our focus. All right. You know what? We might. We'll see how things pan out. Right. So the first thing I want to do is create a hook. Folder hooks. I may have more than one. I don't want to just have context. What do I want to call this? use chess dot ts. I don't think I need tsx for this. We'll find out, I guess. Okay, so we're going to use context here. Use chess. Be nice if I had an example hook. Hooks. Use form status might be a good example. I'll look at the code for it. Let's just find the code for it. Whoa, hello. Actually, let's just look. We're not going to find it easily. Use form, status. Use action, state. Use effect even. Use effect. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything particularly. I see tests. Maybe this? This is not a JSX file, interestingly. But it's... I think everything here is being treated like JSX. Huh. Interesting that it's just returning a couple of components. Is this just a sample? Use effect event. Where's that getting pulled from? React.use effect event. Okay, so, this is too complicated. All right, use hook sample. I just need a quick sample. Use batter. Use click away. It doesn't matter. It just needs the basic structure of types and whatnot. I see we're not even doing a thing. Where's the hook? Okay, this doesn't look useful. No. Great. A bunch of hooks someone else wrote. I need a hook that I'm writing. Is there code? GitHub. Maybe looking at their examples will work. I really would like to see TypeScript though. That's okay. I wanted to see the types. You know what? I'll just ask AI. Doc.ai. Show me a sample use hook. Hook for React, which uses TypeScript. Doesn't need to be complicated. I'm curious about the types here. I guess I'll worry about the types later. I guess there's not like a special type to use. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the rest then. Use chess. Const use chess equals it's going to be a function. Yeah. Chess state equals okay, we have some issues here. What's the first one? I think we're a bit confused. Yeah, that's it. It just wasn't type checking. Okay. Can't have empty types in TypeScript, I guess. Okay. So, right. Well, we're going to have a game there. Okay. Return game. How do we make a new game again? Types. Jeez, this is really pushing me, isn't it? Okay, game new. Right, I need to use state, right. Okay, so we're actually going to be copying some stuff here. Boom. Bring this in. Bring that in. There we go. Okay, so. Repainting stuff, it's none of our business. Flipboard, we don't care. That's a UI thing. Okay. Also, something I need to do sooner than later. I'm just going to put this in my notes while I'm remembering it. Add algebraic notation to the board. I'm accidentally learning my own weird debug notation instead of the real one. I mean, if I'm going to spend time learning a notation while we're working on this app, I may as well learn one. Oh gosh, all this stuff changed? Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. Okay, you know, I'm not dealing with that at this exact moment. We're going to figure out what we did wrong and then go back. There's source control, we can always go back. So, I have a hunch what I did wrong. Okay, my hunch is over, but we'll figure it out. Maybe I checked out an earlier... No, I don't know. It's an earlier version. I have no idea what happened there. Actually, you know, I need to make sure I'm in the right area. I'm just kind of freaking out a little bit. Oh! Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, master's in the wrong spot. I expected master to be here. Alright. So, it's not going to have any negative impact on what I've already written, except what I'm writing now. So let's do this. Get fast forward to this location. Diverging branches can't be fast forward. Did? I'm really confused because you have this branch. Okay, I've got this bug twice. I think I just need to force... I don't know what I did. Apparently I was on... You know, I wonder if maybe I was working the whole time with no branch. Because I've only got two branches here. This one and this one. There's no branch here. So I think what I might have done at some point was accidentally gotten off of master and then just was a no branch forever. Whoopsie daisy. Alright, so let's force push to here. Reset hard to this location. And then fast forward again. Okay, great. The only real worry, let me just look at everything again. Okay, looks good, looks good. This is what I wanted. What's this look like? Reload the page. Okay, that's more like it, great. The only, yeah, see, I knew I could get this back. I knew I could get this looking correct again. Oops. Okay, well, we lost our piece. I'm going to deal with that later. The only real concern was that the stuff I was writing now was going to be out of date. Okay. Here we go. Dirty squares we don't care about. Canvas ref needs repaint. Piece hitboxes. No, we don't care about that. That information is collected in the canvas rendering routines, the painting routines. And not only that, it's used by the UI to decide what the user's input is to the chess game. So all of that's irrelevant to the game itself. That's just how the user inputs stuff, right? That's just a hack we use to find out if the user is trying to click on a black piece or a white piece or which piece they're clicking on, right? That has nothing to do with the game. That's all about tracking the game. And both in how it's created and how it's used, we have a hint that we shouldn't be using that and worrying about it here. Okay. By the way, is my mouse big enough for y'all? Please comment and let me know. Can you see clearly what I'm focused on when I'm talking to you? We can always adjust. Now, I honestly don't think there's anything else we need here from this. What I am going to need is probably I'll need to add in the stuff for the move log, and that's where this is really going to start to make sense to have this. I also want to take this move piece function and move it in here as well. I don't know if I need to use callback or not. I just read that thing. I just read some information saying that I wouldn't need to use callback for most things. So I'm not going to use it. And if something bad happens, I'll blame the documentation. If something bad happens, we'll just move forward, right? Find piece at index. Okay, where's that come from? I'm betting. Oh. Okay, hang on. This is important. We're relying on stuff from that file. Okay. Okay, we're passing the piece and the index it's moving to. I really need to change this to say to index. Yeah, I need to rename this. To index. Right. Okay, so I think we need to pass in the capture information, don't we? No, we don't. No, we don't. Find piece at index. Let's put that in here. Okay, I'm not seeing errors there. Why am I seeing an error still in this file, though? Right here, events.emit. Okay, now here's part of what I wanted to do. I wanted to wrap the event handler. Right. Not here. Let's close that. Yeah, we made a mistake here, but we'll correct it in a minute. Const, maybe ref? I don't know. I don't like using refs though. They're kind of annoying. Events, set events equals use state. Oh. Here we go, mit. Mit. We'll just pass that function in. Add import. Okay. We're not going to have that anymore. We're going to get rid of that too. We're going to get rid of this. Well, we're going to re-add that, but now this function move piece. It is going to rely. Well, you know. Yeah. We're going to move it out here. You'll see why in a minute. This is all going to start coming together. I need the event handler to be passed in here too. Is it worth it to completely separate this way? I don't think it is. Okay, let's undo that. But we are going to put these first. Paste. Okay. Function move piece. We're not going to actually, yeah. Const move piece. Great. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing any more errors. That's good. But what I do need is to remove this part and this part. Okay, we're making use of those two things. Okay, that's now captured. Intentionally captured this time. Okay. So as it turns out, ultimately, we added those, we factored out those closures just as an aid to help us move this to a new file. And it turned out not to help as much as we thought, because what we really should have been concerned about was this. Okay, game doesn't exist right now. Right, so here's what we need to do. Const game move piece equals use chess. Now I don't know why. Oh, it's not exported, that's why. Now let's import it. Boom, done. Okay, now turn game. Move piece is going to be args move piece args. No, we're just going to put move piece there directly. Right. We're no longer having move piece be an external thing. Okay. Great. And then move piece. Boom. Great. Let's make this even more confusing. Chess state move piece. There we go. Perfect. We'll just line those types up like that. Babies in the background having a lot of fun. Hope you guys are enjoying that. Okay. Believe it or not, I think this is working, but do I have set game anywhere here? Oh, I don't. The only place I had set game, it looks like the only place I use that anywhere. Look at that. It's only used in one spot, which is here, inside of move piece. Right here. That's perfect. That's great. I believe this should still work like this then. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Remove unused declaration. Okay. Do we have errors? Probably. Let's reload and be optimistic, huh? Okay. Find piece at not defined. Okay, so find piece at is find piece at is going to be more of a basic thing. We could expose it actually, where you don't pass in the game at all. You just pass in the index. Let's do that. Okay. Find piece at index is going to be index to find piece at index game index. Okay, now the only thing left to do here, number. I bet we can make that error go away, though, by defining it here. Find, oh, come on, piece. Oh, that would be helpful, have a comma there. Find piece at index. Struggling here. Okay. Props, index number. To, I think it's a maybe piece. Undefined or this. Okay. Well, that clearly needs to have a better export type. found piece. We're going to have to come up with a better name for that later. Undefined or found piece. I mean, there it is. Why is this not working? Oh, it helps if you put a parenthesis at the end of the function parameters. Put a comma at the end. Perfect. Okay. Now, that gets rid of this error as well. The type is known. Okay, great. I don't like the big separation here between this and this, but we're going to live with it for now. I suppose I could take chest state right here and move that here, where it's a little bit closer to the return call. I think that's ideal. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My brain is hurting. Hopefully this works by now. It doesn't. Okay. Let's look at the error. Find piece at. Oh yeah, that was our whole issue. Find piece at. Find piece at. Where am I using it? Paint piece at needs a reference to find piece at. Does it need a reference to the game anymore? No, it doesn't. So I don't feel bad about changing these two, like swapping them. Find piece at. We're going to call it chess state find piece at. Hang on. Find piece at index. Perfect. That works for me. Now then, we need to pass that function in. Paint piece at. Okay. Comma. I don't know why we have that like that. Index is index. Yeah, I don't know why we have any of those like that. Okay. Okay, let's see what other errors we have. Oh, things are working. Piece position is not defined. Okay. Okay. Piece position. I'm a bit confused. Paint indices here. Yet round tripping's not happening. Wait, huh? Piece position is not defined at paint indices 322. Paint indices 322. It says piece position is not defined. I think this is out of date. I think this is a different line. Let's try again. Reloading. Starting at the top. I'm confused. Piece position is not defined. I don't see how piece position is ever checked there. All right. Piece position is not defined. Well, let's see where we're using it, right? We're We're using it here. Oh, we are using it there. Okay, I see. That's 322 though. Yeah, that's the wrong spot. Paint indices. Paint indices. I don't understand that. Okay, there's something really dumb going on. It's something I've overlooked. 322. Keep going. 322. Wait. It's not even mentioned there. I feel like the problem right now is we need to just reload this. We're going to close this out and reload it, see if that fixes it. Yeah, exactly. That was just a weird issue with Chrome. Okay, great. I think we're at a place where we can commit. Add hooks. Imports we don't care about. Yep. Uh-huh. Yes. Great. Pull out game state as a use chess hook. Perfect. Now that gives us some freedom to try and manipulate this hook or the contents of this hook separately, quite separately from, yeah. Now one improvement we could make here is that, but that confuses me, honestly. I'm just going to give an underscore because we're not using it yet, and I'm going to update that. I don't like how this second thing is, I don't like how this second terminal is always in my way. It's just there to track if cursor crashes, really. So we'll just separate that out. Now, found position, find piece at. Okay, that's a good place to be. Okay. Give me a few seconds here. Okay, I feel like at this point we want to try to move the move log stuff in. It's not going to type check yet, but also it's a work in progress. So everything in here is meant to be changed anyway. Okay, so let's see, what do we have lying around? The only thing we have lying around is there where I was playing with the SCBG thing, trying to get a new version of it. Okay, so let's grab this stuff over. Pick, it's gonna fail. Oh, it didn't fail. Okay. Oops. And then we can honestly delete that branch at this point. Okay. Just a sec. Alrighty. Right, so now what we want to do... Oh, whoa, hello. Let's try that again. Keyboard's freaking out on me. Let's pull the head back a little bit. Now if we do get L5 from this location, we'll see that the head is moved. That commit still exists, but we're dropping it. However, the contents of the commit are now here as work in progress. And we've got the move log in particular and the event types. Okay, so, okay. Oops, move log. We want this over here. I don't know if we need to worry about events or not. Honestly, like, I don't know that we even need the event API at this point because we're using context like this. Like, I didn't test it out and find out for sure, but basically, like, from what I understand, you can't really respond to events inside of a component. Because what are you going to do? Update your internal state? No, that doesn't work. So you need to do it globally. So basically, at the point that we move a piece inside this use check hook, at the point that we call move piece, we can go ahead and just update the data that's going to be needed for the movement log as well, directly, rather than passing an event. So, you know, I guess it's a simple enough case to where it doesn't really make sense to have an event handler involved. But we've got it available. I don't plan to delete it here. We might find a use for it later. And we might use it for communicating with external systems or something. We'll see. Okay, so movement log. I'll have to look in more detail too about how you deal with receiving data from external systems. I've forgotten how to do things in React sometimes, so I'm sure there's a way to do it where it works out. Maybe the secret is to do it inside of here, inside of a hook instead of a. Maybe the secret is doing it inside of a hook instead of a component. But at the point that we're inside this hook, we can just directly update the thing. We don't need to. There's no external system now, right? Because it's just two different components that we're talking to each other. Now they're just going to share a hook, and the hook can update itself. So no events. Sorry, I said that twice, and hopefully one of them made sense. Okay. I'm not seeing us use this, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess with it. It's not required to remove this just to do the thing. So, and it would let me separate out the hook into multiple hooks later, I suppose. If that's even a thing I want to do. Okay, so we're gonna leave it for now. I don't really want to have this. I don't want to use this anymore, though. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to have an update move log function that we call. It's also going to be reactive. Constant update move log. Or is it? I mean, quite honestly, move piece could just do the updates itself. Now let's look at the game first. Okay, we've got a per player state. I guess we want to have a per player movement log as well. Okay, if we change the type of the game, what happens? Oops, daisy. How many things break when we do this? State movement, and then we're going to have, what was it called? Movement log entry. Okay. We're going to have per player movement log entries. I could have per piece movement log entries, which would be interesting. But I don't think I want to get that fanatical with it. I do think I want the most recent movement to be at the beginning of the list. Oops. most recent movement beginning. I don't think... is there a way to... I hate how the IDE tries to be helpful in the most awkward ways sometimes. There we go. Okay, we got documentation now. At the beginning of the log. Front. Let's just say front, not beginning. Because beginning implies like, that kind of implies chronology there. Okay, this is no longer a game. Oh, I just realized something. We should do this differently. Yeah, instead of modifying the game, let's modify the player state. We don't need per player anymore. Let's factor this back out. Yeah. I think this works better. Right. The only problem... Let's make this a question mark and see what happens. Yeah, that stuff type checks now. Good. That was the only issue. Movements. None. Okay. Great. Okay. Seems good to me. Then what we need to do is in move piece, where we're calling the event, we're going to get rid of this. And then we're going to do this. Game dot... Ooh, which color is it? Do I know the color? My color. Dot... What's the problem here? Element implicitly has type any because expression of type any can't be used. Okay, well, why is it any? Is it because it doesn't exist here? Okay, hang on. Oh, it doesn't exist. Okay, where's opponent color defined? Right here. Okay, now this is important. I don't know my color. I don't know my color unless you know, this stuff might be redundant because we moved this stuff. I think I can get rid of all this. I'm deducing the color of my piece based on the color of the piece I captured. If I'm capturing a piece, it must be the opponent's color. Oh gosh. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so this might be totally wrong. We have our piece. We need to figure out the color of the piece a different way. And that's probably going to break this existing code, but we want to marry it later, not now. I think that's it. Okay. So, right. Constant search for, oops. Search for color equals find piece at game piece dot position. Oh, index. Yeah, there we go. Okay. If search for color is undefined, there's nothing we can do here. Okay. At this point, we'll just return. Search for color. Oh, wait. Here we go. Const piece. My piece. We're just going to not use that. We just need the collar. My collar equals search for collar. Okay, now we want to take my collar everywhere else it's used and rename it. Deprecated. And is my color used anywhere? No, except here. Okay, great. Now this deprecated one, that's a bug. We need to fix that. I think we need to just redo this whole logic. We maybe can just remove this whole index. We probably can remove all of that. Not gonna lie, we probably just get rid of it. Just take the else branch. Okay, so something like that, or just, yeah, we probably can remove this if, and then we probably don't need the my collar thing. Probably just can get the opponent's collar based off of my collar and just remove my collar variable. Okay, yeah. Okay. Piece does not exist on type player state. Is this new code? I mean, I'm not getting... Oh, it's... Yeah, I didn't finish. Okay. Dot movements dot unshift, right? I'd like some documentation here. Insert new elements at the start of an array. Unshift a movement log entry. Oy, that was a lot. Okay, so movement log entry piece. You know, we can do this part first. Get rid of that, I think. Yeah. Oh, we need the from position, so this does have to be second. Okay. Piece dot piece from position piece, oopsie daisy, piece dot position to position is index, promotes to is not going to be defined, captures. Now this is not going to be defined. To do captures promotion. We're not handling promotion at all right now, actually, which we should. Okay. We really need something to handle rules, though. I don't think we can handle promotions very well until we have rules. As far as captures, we can grab this. We just need to save the capture. Captures which piece? Piece type, okay. So let captured piece piece or undefined equal undefined. Okay, and then we're just going to set the capture piece. We have a capture piece right here. We can do this early. Capture. Oh, wait a minute. We can't. My capture piece. My capture piece equals capture piece. No. Dot piece. There we go. We'll leave promotion off of this. Captures my captured piece. Now that could be, right, it could be undefined, but it doesn't matter, right? Okay. Great. Okay, so that does the job there. We need to handle promotions at some point, but we're not doing that now. Okay, seems like this is okay. I need to figure out, though, what's happening with the movement log. I think what I want to do is change set game to show me stuff. So we're going to call this underscore set game. Const set game equals type of set game equals, I don't care what the args are, set game args, return console dot debug, maybe? Yeah, console dot debug set game colon JSON.stringify. Oops. I actually do care about the args, don't I? New game. Whoops, don't do that. Null 2. Now the type is slightly off, actually. We're going to call it, yeah, we're going to change the type a little bit. Because that's, it will type check, but it's not going to show us what we want. So what we want to do is have game. Let's call it G game to void. We don't need to return anything. There we go. That also type checks, and it's going to give us what we want here. So if we call set game, we can't pass a function, basically, which is a fine limitation for me. Looks like we only ever set it here when we're moving a piece. Okay. Aside from the original state, which we're never actually... Yeah, we're never actually setting that. Okay. Great. Okay, reload. Oh, hello. We're getting that issue again. It's the same issue as before. We have made some changes since then. I think... Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but let's just try to ignore it and try to move on. Now, let's try to play a game. Piece position is not defined at paint pieces 322. This is so weird. Let's... And why is it paint indices? Why is it paint indices? I don't understand this at all. Let's comment out paint indices, because I don't need them for this. Okay. Okay, no indices. It feels bare. All right, so let's move upon. Okay, there's no error now. What in the world? What is going on? Paint indices. I think I just need to step through it. Let's step through it. Reload. Still giving us errors, okay. This is so weird. Okay, so let's start from the top, because I really don't have anything to go by. Okay. Paint indices. Boom. 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 No error so far. Boom. Okay, it is happening right here in this assert. Piece position is not defined. Let's make this bigger. Well, first of all, let's do this. Let's copy all of this stuff. Okay, I don't know what you're asking me to do. I just want to copy stuff. Okay, so console. Let's try if we paste this. Okay, we can kind of use the keyboard. That doesn't cause the error. Copy. That doesn't cause the error. So is it the console assert? Copy. That's really confusing. Okay. That doesn't cause the error either. Oh! It's the conditional. It's the conditional. I can't remember what the condition's supposed to be, but that's what was causing the issue. Oh my lord. Okay, it's got to be it. Reload the page. Get rid of the breakpoint here. Whoops. I mean, it gave me a link to my source code. It should have just told me it was in the breakpoint. Maybe it did. Let's try to replicate the error here. Okay, let's edit this one. Oh, well, that doesn't help. Okay, so this used to be one. Let's edit it. Apparently, I can't edit one because it doesn't make sense anymore. Just trash them. Okay, just get rid of all of them. Whatever. Unbelievable. I did not realize there's a breakpoint causing the error. Oh my goodness. I thought my code looked sane. Okay. Let's begin again. What were we trying to test exactly? I remember it had something to do with piece movement. Why is it not outputting anything? Okay, so let's look. Use chess. Okay. We were going to have set game here. And we're going to set this. Okay. Move this piece. Okay, we're calling set game. Step into it. Oh, look, here we are. Step over. Oh, I get it. I get it. I know what's going on. We're doing everything correctly, except that we're filtering. Verbose. Dang, that is verbose. Okay. Reload. Let's move one piece. Okay. I still get the nagging feeling I have the king and queen backwards here. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Okay. We have our game. We have our board position here. I don't know what I was trying to figure out. This pawn is on 36. It's on 36. There is no pawn on 38, right? Right. You know, having algebraic notation here would be less efficient, but it would be very helpful for me to learn the notation. Okay. Maybe I should paint the notation at the top right corner instead of the bottom left. Wouldn't be that hard to do. Okay, so movements. Right, I want to track movements. Piece from position to position. Okay, so what I want to do then is track just movements. Not the whole game. Okay, so... Oh, in the first place... What? Game. Oh. Yeah, okay, I'm confused by the word new game. I was confusing it with this. Let's rename that. Next game state. Let's just help myself not be confused. If I'm not mistaken, new game white. Okay. Next game state dot white dot movements. Black. Next game state dot white dot black. There we go. Movements. That's better. Get all the information in there that we need. Okay, so let's clear it out and start over. Okay. King moves here. Okay. Now then, the white pawn has moved from 38 to 36. The black pawn has moved from 25 to 27, and now white's going to capture. The white pawn moved from 36 to 27 most recently. It captures a pawn. Okay. That's about the level of depth I wanted to get into for debugging that. Certainly this way. Okay, so that was great to know. Let's swap these. There we go. We have this available. We're not using it anywhere except in itself. Okay, it's fine. Okay. Time to commit some changes. Yes. 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 Wait. This is suspicious a little bit. Oh no, okay, yeah, right here we're just doing the necessary stuff. You know what? We're going to make some changes here. We're going to change things back. Where's deprecated? My color. My real color. My color deprecated. We're going to change it back. Because I don't want to get confused here. Yes, all. Here. This is looking good. Yes and yes. Okay, so far so good. Let's jump down a little bit. We're not emitting anymore. Okay, fine. That's it, right? In move piece, we search for color now. We keep the capture piece available, and then we have, okay, great. This looks good. Track piece movements in a log. All right. Oh, move log doesn't exist now, and I don't. Yeah. We need to actually show things. I think the event types. I don't think I need that. Event types. We don't have this committed anywhere. I think I'm okay to get rid of it. We can recreate this later. This was a fair amount of work to get rid of. I think I'm just going to leave it my source tree for now. It might accidentally get committed. That's the risk we're taking, which is not a huge risk. All right, so I think I want to go ahead now and just search through this while my mind's on it and figure this out, how it works. Okay, we're moving a piece. I really could use those. I really could use this. Okay, so we need the piece position, and the index is moving 2. Okay, we're going to rename this to index. No, we're not, because I don't want to have changes everywhere on account of it. To index. Okay, we find the color. We've already gotten that. Be nice to have the color passed in, but whatever. You know what? We want our game to be accurate. We don't want to rely on the user to pass in information we can collect ourselves. I just need to have a more efficient structure for storing pieces. This is what this is telling me. But that's for later. We'll grab the collar. Okay. My capture piece. Right. So we search for capture. If there is a capture, then we take a look at the capture piece and the opponent's collar. You know, we don't actually know if we're capturing an opponent or not. We could be capturing the same thing. Could be capturing our own. Okay. Now, my capture piece is right. Okay, so that's irrelevant. We don't need to worry about that. Capture index. We have the color of that piece that was captured. If I rename this, it'd be helpful. Captured collar, board position, find that piece. What's index at this point? Oh yeah, the index, the to index. I need to rename this stuff. Because it's very unhelpful to have that. I'm just not remembering what that name means. Okay, I'm not, okay. Oops. Fine. That's a captured index. Make sure it's not the same. Capture index not equal piece dot position. Okay. If we pick up a piece and put it down in the same spot, we don't want to capture it, right? I would ordinarily want to do a break here. But yeah, I don't have that ability. Okay, so game. Captured collar, board position, dot splice, captured index. Okay, we're not capturing our own ourselves. I think what I could do though instead right, we don't know the from index here. Move piece, we don't know from index, we just know to index. But we have the piece. Hang on. We don't need to worry about captures at all if the indices are the same. Okay, so search for capture. I don't want to hack this actually. We're going to go ahead and let it do the search, even though it's less performant. And so there definitely is a capture, and piece.position not equal to index, right? This is a self-capture. Right. Because we already know the index of where we're going to. It's to index, right? Find piece at to index. Okay. So we can get rid of this. Great. Okay, that helped. Okay. Captured index. I don't think this is particularly intuitive. Captured list index, array index. All right. My color. I want to change my color to capture owner. I remember my color is just used to decide who gets the capture, who gets credit for the capture. I think it makes sense for the opponent to always get, like, if a white piece is captured, I think it makes sense to give it to the opponent. So, captured colors, hang on, opponent of captured. Just rename it. Okay, capture state. Right, here's where you do the if-else thing. Okay, I think all this still makes sense. Okay, man, it's denser than it was, that's for sure. It's going to be complicated to try and understand there. Yeah, there's no way to really get it. Move piece, rework, capture logic, and rename variables. It should behaves the same, but is a bit more logical and easier to read. Okay. I don't know, that was kind of an unnecessary change, but we had to go through it in order to understand how this works, I guess. Hopefully it'll be easier to understand next time, but then again, maybe it'll just always be complicated. The main complication, though, is just our structures. Like, we're spending time searching through arrays. That's the main complication of this, is just searching and splicing and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we need a better data structure. Okay, and then whenever we need an array, we can just use it as a view of the OG data structure, or the better data structure. Anyway, that's for future. Man, okay. Can we actually get this movement log sorted in some way? I think we can. But the cool thing is, I think we've handled all. We've handled all of the non-UI parts of the movement log. So now all we got to do is display it. Board canvas, let's bring this over just as an example. Const game equals use chess. Okay, that was easy. And I think we only have 3 things in there to choose from. Yep, okay, great. So I just need to go look at the game then. And look at the movement log. Okay, so we're just going to put out the movement log in a couple of divs. That's what it's going to be. Class name equals flex. We want these to be columns. Flex. Wait. I want it to go horizontally. I think that's flex call, multiple columns. But it could be flex row, 1 row. Anyway, 1 row is never true, so. Anyway, I think this is the right thing to use. Let's try to optimize this a little bit. Const colors equals white, black. Huh. Actually, you know what? Let's be really creepy. Creepy. That's the wrong word for it. Per player, white and black. Game.keys. No. Object. Okay. Object.keys. Game. Let's see if this works. Is it guaranteed to be in a specific order? It doesn't say one way or the other, but if it behaves the way I expect, I don't see a reason to make changes. Collars.map. Collar. Div. Key equals collar. Class name. I'm sure there's something I want to put there. I'm just not sure what yet. Okay, then we're going to do an ordered list, actually. And then game color dot movements. No. No, it should be. Player state, yeah, movements. Color is a string, apparently. As piece collar. Okay, well. Uh-huh. Let alone this. Property map does not exist on type piece color. Oh! Let's get rid of that stuff. Oh, okay. Piece color array. That all works. Okay, so now we're making progress. Didn't realize we have a map inside of a map here. Now, here's the thing. Can I do an ordered list with reverse? We're going to do this wrong and then correct it. That's what we're going to do. Because technically we have these in the wrong order. We're going to figure out how to correct it. Entry. Move entry. Here we go. Right then. Everything type checks. Right. Basically, we should just say as any. Well, we'll just call this piece collar list. We're intentionally defeating type checking here. There's no reason to spell it out the long way. Yeah, we have the as any. We're intentionally defeating type checking there just to make this shorter. Honestly, we probably should just spell it out to be easier. We have our collars here. I just wanted to see if this would work. Because the idea would be like if we, for whatever reason, were to change the per player type or the piece collar type, or add or subtract or rename those, that it would still work here, right? That's the point of using this, although I probably shouldn't do it that way. Okay. Anyway. It's just a way of introspecting the type, really. Indirectly. So. Right, as complicated as this is, we're looping over the colors, white and then black, hopefully. And we're going to create a column inside the flex. I don't remember what class I need to use there. And then for each player, we're going to specify their moves in an ordered list. Okay. List item. And then what do we put in there? Honestly, I think I just want to take the new movement log. You know what? For now, yeah, let's just put this in there like this. Okay, it's going to be a div actually. Do I want to use a definition list? Let's use a definition list. I don't remember what those look like. Let me get an example right now. Show an example definition list from HTML. DT and then DD. Okay. DT is going to be piece. DD is going to be, wait, hang on. DT is going to be piece. DD is going to be, we're just going to move entry.piece. We're going to shorten this for now. And then DT from position. E dot from. Essentially what we're doing here is just rehashing the, honestly we could, for what we're doing here we could just yeah, I don't like this because for what we're doing we could simply it'd be much easier just to do JSON. So instead of that we're going to do this. We're going to just put the piece here, e.piece, colon, and we're going to have arrows from position, oops, e.from, e.to. Okay, obviously this doesn't work, but instead of figuring out, you know what? Here. E.piece, E.from position. Instead of trying to figure out HTML entities, let's just use JavaScript. E.to position. Let JSX figure out the entities for me, or React or whatever. Promotes to, we're not even going to worry about. Okay. We're going to have this as a separate line. E.captures. And parentheses. What was the sign for captures? Was it X? I think it was. We're going to use X and then capture E.captures. That piece. Okay. 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 There's our move log. Now then, I got to remember how our canvas is showing up on the page. It's not under assets, no. Components. Probably under app.tsx, right? Yes, there we go. Okay, we're just going to modify it here. We again need a flex box. Div class name equals flex call, and then move log. We're not exporting that. Export default move log. Import Okay, let's see what that looks like. Let's reload. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Inspect. Huh? Oh, there's our root. Flex. Overflow hidden. Okay, flex, flex call. Here, let me just use AI for this. Oh, we're gonna leave that up. Show me an example flexbox with 2 columns using TypeScript. Or, sorry, Tailwind. I know there's more than I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't remember what. Stop. Oh my lord. Don't add anything else. Okay, we're not doing anything here. We don't need flex call. It's either optional or it's the wrong one. I like being explicit. Flex row. All right, let's just look at Tailwind documentation because I'm not understanding life. Tailwind, Control T, flex. Thought that was totally a thing. Yeah, it is. Flex call positions items vertically. Flex row positions items horizontally. Okay. I got confuzzled. Flex row positions horizontally. Well, this thing is set to take over, but I still should have a scroll bar, right? I'm a bit confuzzled. Why don't I hide the board for now? Oh, you know what? Part of the problem, I think I know the problem. Nope. Okay, but let's hide the board. For real, for real. Display none. Well, here this thing is with no size. Okay, let's take a look. We have 2 divs with empty moves. This is confusing. Okay. Let's have the class name. Let's have a class name of the caller. Sure, there's more than that we want to have, but that'll be good enough for now. I want to set a min size here. Okay, so let's go back to board canvas. Oh gosh, that's so complicated. Okay, let's go back to here. Max width is full, max height full. We're not doing anything else. Okay. Okay. Let's okay, I want one of the columns to consume consume 2/3 the parent's width of the flex space. The other 1/3. Two-thirds and 1/3. Oh, the W thing matters. Okay. Okay, so I'm actually going to do that here. W 2/3. Div okay. That should at least, there we go, it at least changes the board. We're still not seeing anything inside here, though. White and black. These are not very big. Okay. We want them to consume half, though. So that's something. Oh. Plus W 1/2. Now they have width and no height. Okay. I want the columns to match the height of the tallest one. Item stretch. Okay. We're just defining space right now. Wait, is that the right spot to put it? Probably not. Probably right here. We just are defining space. That's not working there. Is it working here? No, it's 0. What about here? This is working. We're just going to take this and say, this is kind of a bad place to do it, but H full. Now it's working. I don't like how we're breaking the... We have a leaky abstraction here, because right here we're making an assumption about the parent. Right? We're assuming the parent is picking the right height for us, which in this case it is. What I actually probably want to do is get those props passed into the div. But, yeah. Now, right now we don't have any moves. Let's add some moves. Now, at this point, we should see some changes. But spoiler alert, we don't. I don't know why. At this point, we're not seeing changes there. I don't know why it's not getting updated. It is doing use chess. Console.log. Let's do .debug. Move log. Let's not. Well, let's get as much information as we can here. Come on now. JSON.stringify. Come on now. Okay. All the line noise there on line 13. Okay. We want to have white movements, white game.white.movements. Perfect. Undo. There we go. I need a comma here as well. Okay, so let's start over. Nothing so far. Oh, move log, we are getting it, okay. Movements are blank for both. Now, why didn't we get that updated at that point? Set game should have been called. I'm not really understanding this. Set game should have been called. So let's bring back this old friend. Okay. And boom. Okay, you can see this is getting called, but nothing's happening here. We are using the game. All right, this is a perfect time to ask AI, I think. We don't need that. I don't think we need that anymore. Nope. Let's remove things we don't need and ask AI to fix it or to understand it. Don't want to make that change. AP, the app, we don't care about that. Add components, move log. Add move log component. It isn't working yet, but that's beside the point. New one, and we want to change from agent mode to ask mode. Okay. How do I want to word this? When I call set game in use chess, I expect the move log component to get rendered again with the fresh values. I'm not going to say anything else. I'll let it infer what it wants to infer. Okay. Separate use state instances. Oh, it's not a context. Right. I never added the context. Oh my goodness. Okay, so okay, I didn't realize this. The state is separate between the two. Hey, that's really important to know. That might help me at work. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's actually really important stuff to know. Okay. Great. I need to learn how context works. React.dev context. I mean, why do they gotta make it so complicated? Let's look at learn. If I'm not mistaken, the context has to be defined somewhere other than where the use context is called. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I want to see a definition. Context provider. Okay, so we do this in code. Fine, but I have a feeling I have to find the context somewhere. Oh, create context. That's how. Okay. I think this shows everything we need. Great. Can I make it bigger? That'll make it bigger. Okay. I'm just going to do it here. Game context equals create context. Game new. Game context is not a function. Okay. Sounds good to me. Now, well, that's exciting. I don't really care about any of that stuff, though. I just want to see the code. What's this value equals? Oh, that's a way for us to change it. Okay, well, we don't want to change it. Game context. If I say... No, it doesn't automatically format. I need to get that working at some point. What's the point of giving a default value if you have to specify the value? All right, here's what we're going to do. Oh, because it needs to be reactive, that's why. We're not using count for anything. Okay, const game set game equals... I didn't know if this works. Use state game new. Value equals game. There. I don't even know if use state's going to work the way we want. Anyway. Okay. Now we want to use context. Is there nowhere to search? I don't actually want to edit. I just want to find. Control F doesn't work. Maybe I click here. Control F. Here. I have to click the search button, I guess. Use context. Well, how about we search in the file I have open, eh? Okay, use context, theme context, use context, theme context. Okay, great. I have to import that from somewhere. Which means I need to make it available somewhere. All right, well, game context. We might end up with multiple contexts at some point, but this is going to be the one. Export default game context. Okay, new game. No, actually, I want to import it. Game new, is that it? There's it. Okay. Game context dot. You know what? I am not going to try to play with fire. I'm not going to try to play with fire. Okay, we're just going to have a use state here. Seems useless to me. Why provide a default value here if we're just going to ignore it? I don't know. Okay, whatever. If we're going to require a value here, then what's the point of... Maybe this part's not needed? I don't even know. Okay, game context, use chess. Now then. We might not be out of the woods yet. No, we don't... Okay. So use context is not enough. The game equals use context. Game context. Does this have a setter and getter on it? No. How do I update the context? Don't tell me I have to pass messages around, because then now we're getting back to we are now getting back to event handling. Yeah. Updating data via pass via context. Okay. I'm going to do this the most brain dead way I can. This is kind of dumb. Like, but yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Const events equals mit. Import. Events.on. Technically, this would be in a use effect. Yeah. Events.on. Game update. Data. Wait. Data. We're going to pretend it's a game. We're not even going to check it. Whoa, hello. No. My keyboard went on vacation. In the middle of typing something. Okay. Set game. Data. Oh, we just need to import that. Perfect. Problem. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Let's just start over. Events.on. Type star wildcard handler. I don't want to do that one. This one. Okay, I'm just going to go with this one. I have to type star there, though. Handler. It receives record event type unknown. I had this before working, didn't I? You know, I don't know that I ever got it working. Let's remove that and see what we get here. Oh, that was the only issue. As game. Yeah, we're not type checking right now. Okay, I see the issue. Okay. Okay. It was just being good to me and helping me with type checking, which I don't actually want right now. It was treating me right. Return. Does this return anything? Turns void. How do I dismiss a handler at some point? Off? Maybe? Let's see. Mit. Oh, that's not going to help me in life. You know, let's look at the top of the file here. There. Oh gosh. Okay, well let's reset. Calm down. Oh, calm down. Okay. There. Okay, good. README maybe? How does off work? Clearing all events? No. Listen and unlisten. That's what we need. Okay. So in order to do that, boom. That is unknown. Okay. Events.off. You know, I just happen to think, like, I maybe need to use the same one everywhere for this to work at all. Maybe I'll use state const events underscore equals use state mit. So we won't redefine it every time. We'll just use this one. That means we need to pass it through context, but that's fine. We'll just create our own context, I guess. Yeah. We'll just have an app context, I guess. Context always. Export const app context equals create context. React.context game. Okay, so context game. Oops, daisy. I'm thinking too fast, I think. This type has, yeah, this is where we're going to put it. Game. I don't think we need a game context, really. Yeah, otherwise we'd have to do some hokey stuff. Events. What type is events? Emitter record. You know what? Let's just, yeah, I know what we'll do. Return type of mit. Okay. Create context. Again, I don't know what the purpose here of this is, but yeah. What's the problem here? There we go. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Here's our app. Come on now. Game context. Oh. Import. There we go. Okay, okay. Oh, I just realized we want to use state for this. Const app set app. We're going to need this equals use state game new events mit. I don't know what the issue here is. Oh, I know what the issue is. Okay, I get it. Insert. Boom. There we go. That took a minute. Okay, perfect. Okay. Value equals app. Now then, const game events equals app. Perfect. Game to void set app to a new thing. We're going to have game G app. Do it that way. Comma expected. That's fine. Perfect. The error here is that G gets overwritten, right? Yep. Perfect. Okay. It gave me the error warning message. That's great. Okay, so this is set game. Okay. Wow, that was a journey. In the middle of trying to fix this, I realized, it dawned on me, that you can't just recreate MIT everywhere and expect that to be the same event handler. Obviously, it's probably not a singleton. And you wouldn't want it to be a singleton. I could probably go check, but like, you wouldn't want it to be a singleton. You want to create it in one spot and use the same one everywhere. Yes, so we need to store that in the context as well. I don't find us using game context anymore. So export default, I guess. Export default app context. Let's rename this file app context. And we're going to have to fix this. Easiest way is just to redo it. Here we go. Okay. Now then, let's go back to use chess. And I feel like we're going to need to move around a lot. So let's come over here. The app equals use context. App context. Now, I would love to simplify this. I think I can. No, we're going to need both. Okay. Game events. Perfect. Now set game here. Set game is responding to game update. Okay, so here it's going to, yeah. We take a game, return void, equals emit. There we go. Game update, and then we just pass the game. Perfect. Now this should work. I don't know how this is gonna. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Okay, now. I'm a little bit confused right now. I don't know if anything works right now, but I think it should. Delete all unused imports, great. I feel like we should be good to go. Are we not using game here? Value is never read. Okay. And it does make sense to me that we don't actually care about the we don't care about the game at this level. That's actually a good thing, right? We don't want it to be oh gosh. We don't want it to be messing with that. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Get rid of our errors. I'm sure there'll be more of them. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to see if things work. Okay, so this is actually progress. You can see we've got pawn 38 to 36. This is progress. Now we know that the game that we have inside of the board position, inside of the boards, the same game that we have here, this same game is this same game. right? These two games are the same, which I kind of can almost line up there. Anyway, same game. That's really good to know. The board canvas and the move log are accessing the same game. That by itself is a fix. I think at this point we should go ahead and commit. App context. And let's look at our changes. Oh gosh, so many changes there. This one didn't... Oh wait. Okay, I do not want to commit quite that way. In use chess, I don't want to have the debug logger be committed. Yes. Yes. DW. Perfect. I'm not seeing anything else I need to add. Oh, app context. Keep game and events in a shared context. Okay, it's all coming together now. So many things I've forgotten about React. Okay, so each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Okay. Okay. Let's think about this in life. Let's think about this. The only thing we need to do here is figure out we need to figure out what to do there. Okay, so move log, we need to figure out, for this list element, we need to put a key there. Key is gonna be e dot what? The piece is not going to be unique. The from position is not going to be unique. The to position will be, though. So we could use that. Yeah, we could use from position or to position, frankly. Because no two pieces can move from the same... Wait a minute. That won't be unique. We can have multiple pieces go to the same location. Not at the same point in time. But they certainly can. Okay, let's have a function gen key then. Function gen key. Oops. And it pulls in a movement entry log. Movement log entry. And it passes out a string. Okay. Return. Oh, you know what? Const equals e honestly the index would be helpful. The index would be helpful. No, let's not do this. I'll tell you why. Our goal okay. One of the most important things about this list of moves is the order cannot change. It needs to be governed by the indices. That's one of the most important things. We don't need to generate some kind of unique index. You know, because if you think about it, if you look at the movement log type, where is it? If you look at this type, you've got the piece that's moving. Let's say a knight. You know, you got the from position, the to position. Let's say that promotes and captures are both undefined. We can't rely on those anyway. So you see these three things. These can be repeated multiple times in the same game. For example, it's perfectly legal to do this, like move from 8 to 18, and then your next turn you move back. It's perfectly legal. You didn't capture anything. You could capture two different pawns. Sorry. You move there, you move back, you move again, right? You move. You can spend the whole game doing just this. You might even make the same movement. You might move from 8 to 8. You might have knight from 8 to 18. I guess that would be what? B8 to C6. You might make that same movement capturing a different pawn each time. Like you might capture a pawn, then move it back, and capture a different pawn and move, later on. Like even if you include captures, it's still not necessarily unique. So there's nothing about this that's unique except the point in time at which it happened, which is of course demonstrated by the order it is in the list. The most recent move is first in the list, so that's that. That's what we need. So in this case, it is exactly what we want to. And let's try to be more accurate here. Time key. Let's just call it that. All right, and we're gonna call this move log. That's less clear actually. Time key. There we go. All right, I think we're gonna end here. Probably. Let's see how bad it is. Why are we only seeing movements? Okay, hang on. Hang on. Before I accuse it, let me actually play a real game. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. This is looking good. This is great. This is a little bit too small. Okay, that's a problem. Why do we have... Oh, yeah, the arrow. Right. Okay. That's perfectly fine. I think this is a good place to call it. We have our move log here. Let's make more use of it, I guess. Although this is supposed to be an ordered list, the only real issue I'm seeing here is that... Oh, you hear ordered list. Where's the ordering? Oh, okay, I don't know what just happened. Styles. Okay. List style none. Okay. Let's go look at Tailwind. List style. Disk decimal. Uh-huh. Disk and decimal. Well, we'll just use those. Class name. Oh gosh, that wasn't good. Class name. List decimal. Helps if I can spell. Okay, the numbers are here in the wrong spot. They're overlapping. Oh man, okay, there's just not enough space there. Okay, so what we're going to do is make the board even smaller. Because we need to have room for both of these. And we're going to think through later what the best fix is. Instead of 2/3, we want it to be... we want it to be 3/6. Well, that'd be 1/2. Right? Right now it's 4/3 or 4/6. If I make it 3/6, that's 1/2. 1/2, 1/2. Okay, cool. So what's that look like? It's legible, but the numbers are still... Okay, we have a problem here with margin. That's a problem I can fix. Here's our OL for white. We just need margin here. So let's look at computed. How do I know... How do I know why it's... Okay, let's take our marker. It doesn't mention anything about its... Okay. I don't know. Okay. Let's see, it's called list style type. I have an LI with a list style type of decimal. Yes. However, the decimal is too far into the left margin of the lie. How do I adjust that spacing? I want to figure out which property is used to adjust it. List style position inside. Okay, what I actually want to do is make the decimal value closer, the decimal marker closer to the contents of the lie. Okay, let's look at the lie marker and just see what kind of properties it has. I mean, I'm not seeing anything on it already. How is it spaced? Anyway, I'm having the trouble with both of them, honestly. So let's see, white. Let's see, if we go up here, let's see, margin 10. That helps. Oh, it's at the margin. It sits, no, it sits at the border, I guess. If you look at it, yeah, it sits at the border. So if we add margin, this is weird though. 30. That fixes it though. Okay, now let's remove that then. And then, whoa. Let's reload then. Let's see what happens if I, oh yeah, I gotta do moves now. Okay, that's plenty of moves. What if I do it right here? $30. That doesn't fix it. Yeah, it has to be at a specific place. Styles. I think our margin just went away. Yes, it did. Okay, great. So we can do it specifically here. On the OL, I think. Let's replicate that. Yes. Although I think it is just pushing it over. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so right here, margin left is going to be okay, 8, let's say. Okay. This is looking a lot better, and I actually ended up not... Yeah, okay. So changing the size of these two didn't actually help. Let's try going back to that. I think this is okay. We still need to deal with making this fit in that small space, but I don't think we need to change the relative sizing. I think this is good with this, the board taking up 2/3. What we need to do at some point is to update everything to fit on one line. Oops. What do we do here? Movement log entry. Do we need that even? I don't think we do. Yeah, that was when we were going to make a custom key, but we don't need to do that now. Okay. UX, tweak, position. Oh yeah. Add numbers to the list. Now what I want to do at some point is have this count down. Okay. When I use list style type, can I have it count down instead of counting up? Okay. I can reverse the order. Okay. This is confusing. Flex direction, column reverse. Okay, so if I did call reverse, right now I'm seeing 1, 2. Oops, daisy. Cursor. Well, wait, how's flex come into it? Flex, column reverse. Let's just do that. Flex, call, reverse. Does that work? Yes, it does. Then we just have to take our movements and then change the order. Pretty sure reverse operates in place, doesn't it? Yes, that's still not what I want to do. Rev list. T. No, that's not at all what I want from life. Oh yeah, might help. Okay, function from T. L is a list of T, and we're going to return a list of T. Equals L dots. You know what? Yeah. Dot reverse. Perfect. Is it slice? It's slice. Yeah, we don't need to define that anywhere. Okay. Okay, so let's redo this. We're going to move this piece here and that piece there. That's move 1. Remove this here. Move 2 is from 37 to 36. Move 3 is there. And move 4 is a capture. Or yeah, the next move is a capture. And then white's going to, or black's going to do this. Now we need to do some other things. You can see they're not lined up properly. We probably need to put them into one combined list, but that's going to do for now. We're going to make changes later. I have got to go because life is happening around me as I'm busy here with y'all. Okay. Let's see. Reverse the order, the move order. Perfect. And count properly. That's sort of a bug fix slash UX fix. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave it for now. Okay, this is starting to take shape, folks. We got some basic things. Oh yeah, we got that done. Okay, for whatever reason, we still have to use events, but whatever. Yeah. Need to integrate the event framework with React in a good way. Sure, we did that. Yeah, all that got done. Yeah, we did that. Okay, we got our move long component there. We're not worried about that yet. We're not doing that yet. Okay. This time can go away. This is good stuff we got done. Next time, what are we going to do? Yeah, we need to do that. Combine the parallel move arrays for white and black into 1. Then make them share a UX. Make them share a single. Make li per, let's do this in per turn. Right now the turns aren't lining up. So instead of looping over collar and then looping over movements, we're going to loop over movements. We're going to combine the movements for both, and then loop over that, and then do per collar inside that. Yeah, that's basically just going to change the order of our looping. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I guess technically we don't need a loop anymore for the inner one. Anyway, we'll do that later. It's going to be a little bit of a fun thing to start with, I think. Either that or this. Like, either one of those will be good. But this is great, guys. Like, this is really coming together. All right. Well, enough said. You guys know where to find me next time, all right? This is Creative Craving, signing out.